Yeah, it's your boy Danny J. Quick, and I'm here with Kyron Silva. And we want to thank you for joining the Four Tales podcast.
I want to know what it is Quick is trying to say.
We're about to talk some comics and get a little bit controversial. Everything from indie books to movie deal level commercial. With no rehearsals when we converse to coerce you. And then we do the quick takes and try to get to the person. So join us and get your comic book a few more sales once a week wherever you pod. It's Four Tales. Once a week wherever you pod. It's Four Tales.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Towards Comics in collaboration with Visually Stoked Media respectfully brings to you the 167th episode of the Four Tales podcast. I am your host, Kyron Silva from Towards Comics. Across the way is the Ruby author of Heat, Vaughn Stokes, and together we are your two blurred creators here to help you find your next favorite comic. We are live on the Age to Geekdom Network via Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. So if you're listening and watching us live, thank you for your support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and review this podcast because all your positive reviews and interactions help us reach a bigger audience. Vaughn Stokes.
What's up, man?
How you doing?
I'm trying to figure out how y'all let Danny rap.
Wait, what?
I always miss the beginning of y'all show, so I haven't heard that. I have not heard that. So I don't know how you guys let Danny rap.
Did you like it?
How did you guys let Danny rap?
Okay, so you know Danny's brother is a musician.
Yeah.
He's a producer.
Okay.
He's over the years actually rapped on a lot of I can't remember his brother's name right now, but his brother's music just off of TikTok. And I was like, we were doing this podcast for a couple of years now. Why have you not, just rapped for our intro? And he's like, no, I can't rap. And I was like, just for the fun. Our show is not serious in any way. He's like, I can't do it.
So it's your
after like 2 years, he's like, hey, what, peep this. And he just dropped it in my DM, and I was like, what is this? And I started listening. I was like, this fool really did rap on this.
I'll never let him forget this.
We play it every week. He can't forget it.
I would definitely be making mention of this at the next top five. That will happen.
Okay.
But I'm good, man. I'm good.
Okay. For our listening audience who are not watching us live on our social media, Javon has decided to step in for Danny because Danny, at the last minute, decided to tell me that he was going on a trip. And when I say last minute, like literally a couple days ago, Danny said, hey, y'all, I'm going on a trip. And I was like, oh, no.
So unprofessional.
I know. That's your boy, though. That's your boy.
That's your boy. You have 100 and how many episodes?
Well, counting the ones he's missed, probably like 150 something.
You know him a lot longer than I've known him.
Really?
Yeah. Y'all were doing Four Tales before I met Danny. I met Morgan first.
Oh, okay. Snap. I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I met Morgan, and then Morgan introduced me to Danny.
Wow. So you've only known Danny for a couple years then?
Like somewhere during COVID.
Okay. Yeah. Because we started 2021.
So it was probably real soon before that. Real soon.
Damn.
Like around that time, yeah.
I don't know why. For some reason, I thought the two of y'all were like just close. As far as years wise.
No. Like I knew. I want to say the first time I met Danny was 3 years ago at Heroes.
Right. Wow, that's fascinating, dude.
And I knew him a year and a half, I think, before that.
Okay. Danny gets around. He does get around. And you know what? Speaking of Heroes Con, our guest today was actually at Heroes Con. Danny and I got to interview him for a couple minutes. He's an amazing writer and creator. He is the phenomenon that is called Vaughn Coleman. See, I didn't get y'all mixed up this time.
Thank you. No, it was great meeting you at Heroes Con, and I appreciate it.
So, for anyone that's maybe watching the podcast or listening later on, give us a really quick overview as far as who you are as a creator, what you're
Mhm.
working on, things like that.
Yeah, so my name is Vaughn Coleman. I'm the writer and creator of a comic book called Phenomon. I initially majored in filmmaking, and then I had liked comics, but I didn't really start looking at them as like oh, I'm going to create them until when I was in college, and I fell in love with them there, like more so than I already was, and I started doing like deep dives, and since then I've dove into doing like indie comics. I got my superhero book Phenomenova that is set 20 years after World War III and follows a brand new generation of superheroes. I've also got upcoming. I've funded issue 3 recently, and I'm like, you know what? I wanted to I was yeah, it's funny filmmaking. I was like, this is crazy expensive. All these ideas I'd have to do. I had to keep downplaying them all. And then comics, I could do everything. But I'm like, you know what's even less expensive? Just words on the page. So I'm doing a short story collection as well. That should be launching uh, next month. But yeah, I've just been writing like crazy, but mostly comics.
That's nice, nice. So, what is it? What is Phenomenova about?
So Phenomenova is set 20 years after World War III and follows the son of a World War III veteran who is struck by lightning while holding a mysterious crystal and gets lightning powers and super speed. Now, armed with these powers, and inspired by those that came before him during the war, he's like, I want to be a superhero. And so he attempts to stop a heist at a nuclear reactor. Things go terribly wrong, but ultimately the goal is he's now going to be taken in by one of the veteran superheroes who fought during the war and training him to become a member of a new generation of heroes, a team called Phenomenova.
Nice. What made you decide to do like the superhero genre? Because there's so many, indie books, mainstream books that are doing superheroes. I am always curious what made you decide this is the genre I want to tell the story.
Oh, man, I mean, well, I had the idea when I was a little kid. Initially, it was a movie idea. It was in like second grade, and then it evolved into like an animated series idea, and then eventually evolved back into comic book. So it was an idea I've had for a while, and the more I got engrossed in the superhero genre, the more I realized how special it was to me. And what I also like about the superhero genre is how you can touch on so many ideas and so many big budget ideas, and it's like the way like these superhero stories keep going and going and going and reinventing themselves. And I think it was when I was in college, it was Chris Claremont's X-Men run I started reading for the first time, and just seeing that story go, I was like, look at what he's doing with comics, like compared to like what films, like they can't. If you have a 10-year plan in the MCU, they can't touch what you do. Imagine how 10 years worth of issues. Like I'm like, this is nuts, and something about the creativity behind that was special, and I also just realized like how personally special to me the superhero genre was. And so I was like, well, if I'm doing it, I'm going to do like my ultimate love letter to the superhero genre. I'm not just going to throw out, here's a cool power. I'm going to do like everything I love. And I was like, let me just throw everything into this because I know I could bring a lot of special stuff to this.
Now, as a new writer into comics, what are some of the pitfalls that you've come across just creating your first books?
Oh God. Well, the thing about writing indie books, and you go, oh, I want to own everything, I want to own the company. Then you realize there's 50 other jobs that just opened up that you have to do. It's like,
Pretty
what?
much.
I have to organize spreadsheets.
Yeah.
What? I have to like understand sequential storytelling, on a level that's not. I think one of the other things too was, and that's always just a challenge, like when I was first writing screenplays, I was like, oh, they must be like plays. It's like, nope, this is its own format. You have to really learn it and go, okay, there's certain things, like conventions. And then with comic books, it was a weird thing to learn. I'm getting the gist of it now, but it was like one of the things that shocked me about comics coming from film is that they have such a loose format for writing. I'm like, what? Like, because you look at screenplay, they're like very strict. You don't put this on the page. You don't put this. It's almost like very corporate. And then comics, it's like, I mean, if your artist understands it, like that's. I'm like, what? But I remember the first comic I edited was a book called Hunter Ninja Bear, which is written by Chuck Dixon. So I had read some of his stuff growing up, and I was like, oh my God, I get to read one of his scripts. And I was like dissecting it. I'm like, oh, okay, so this is what they do. And what I found interesting was he'd be like directly talking to the artist at times, or sometimes he'd have a reference image. Sometimes he'd be super detailed, and sometimes kind of like, this is whatever. And sometimes he'd be like, hey, what do you think of this? Let's make this badass. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. You could just kind of talk with your artist that way. But it also made me aware of things like pacing and paneling and page turns. And, you kind of made me appreciate the medium on a deeper level. And I dived back into the comics I read. How did they do that? Okay, I'm trying to convey this. What are some comics that did that? Oh, okay, let me look at that. And it really made me appreciate the medium on a deeper level. Because I realized, okay, I can't do X, Y, and Z that I can do in film, but I can do this. And so I think it was kind of just learning a new way of telling a story and how to maximize it. Because I think everyone's probably experienced it where you read a comic, you're like, this is someone's screenplay that they couldn't make. I never want people to feel like that. I want people like, yeah, it was a movie idea originally, but I was like, I'm going to make it a comic book. If it gets made in a movie, whatever. I'm so all in on comics, and I'm like, I don't want to say I don't even care because, like, but I kind of don't, honestly. I think that's a thing. Learning how many different things there are, like lettering. I remember I would go, oh, here's a panel, and then I'd have like a bunch of lines of dialogue. And I got some feedback from Justin Gray. I had met him at a convention, and God bless him, he read my god awful earlier drafts. And he just sends me like a sample of the lettered pages. Like, do you realize how this would cover up the entire illustration? And I was like, okay. So learning all of those pitfalls, being aware of space, especially, that if I'm writing a screenplay, I could be like, this person says a line, this person says, but now I have to go, well, okay, how many people can I have here? I can't just do shot. Even when I was revising issue 4 earlier today, I was like, okay, well, here's the dialogue. How do I show all these different people when they're all over the room? Can I show every single emotion, or can I let some of it just be picked up on? And I think it was really a lot of that technical stuff. Also, the stigma of people will be like, oh, you're making movies, that's cool. And then I think there's a stigma against comics. I swear, because I'll be like, I do comics, like, that's nice.
Yeah.
But it's like, you get a sense where it's like, that's cute. And I'm like, all right. So I think that's part of it too.
I mean, there definitely has been that stigma for decades. I think it's lessened a little bit because of how well the movies have made comic books. But the average person, you tell them you make comics compared to you make a TV show or movie, they'll be like, oh, you make comics.
Or they'll be like, cool.
Yeah.
I get that. I get that a lot. I don't know about you guys. When I tell people, they're like, oh, really?
A lot of people
are like really interested.
A lot of people do think it's cool, especially which is great, but it isn't the same as like I made a movie, But then again, you could argue that with books too. Like if you could say I wrote a book. I mean, I guess movies are like, even though they're all nerds at the end of the day. Like if you're a filmmaker, I promise you that was not cool in high school. I thought, I was like, what do you mean? What? That's, you guys all watch movies, but you don't think I'm cool? But yeah,
well, making movies implies that you have money. So.
Yeah. Another reason why I like comics.
Just saying. Comics don't imply money.
Yeah. Well, another thing with comics, I'm like, whether it's two people talking or massive explosion, it's the page cost. And I was like, that's crazy. So it's literally just my imagination is the limit.
Yeah, I hear your artist listening to this be like, F you. That's not me.
It really isn't. I mean, we're both artists, so we both are like, yeah.
Like, yeah. All right.
But I mean, I have that because I write too. So, and Kyron writes as well. Like, I know I have like an artist writer.
Oh, I imagine.
Writing in my head. So the writer in me will go, huge starship flying through space, avoiding whatever. And then our artist in me will be like,
why the hell did I write that?
Yeah.
From afar.
Yeah. She's just a little. Yeah. No, I've thought of that too. I'll look at especially, and I remember someone pointed out to me, he goes, I could tell someone's an earlier writer. He goes, and I did this in my older scripts. He goes, when they'll have something in the foreground, the background, and the midground all in one panel. And it's like, and I'm like, I'm looking at I'm like, yeah, that doesn't, no. Like I was looking at some John Byrne X-Men stuff going, wow, like just amazed by all of it. And I go, a lot of this is a lot simpler than I pictured in my head.
Yeah. But you also have to think about, especially for the John Burns in them, they're trying to pump out a page, maybe sometimes 2 pages a day. So they're cutting corners to save time, but they're still doing it in a way that makes you feel like there's a lot more vastness, a lot more going on in that panel, which is why they are some of the greatest artists out there.
Yeah, I think that was another thing too. Like, so I've read a lot of older stuff, and then I'll read some more recent too. And I think because so I love a whole bunch of different artists, but sometimes I do worry that we're so worried on doing like a couple hyper detailed panels that we like forget we're supposed to be telling more story. And so that's another thing, always trying to find the balance, but also always trying to make my artist happy. I gave him a lot of splashes and spreads in issue 1. I haven't been able to do as many because my page count per issue is generally lower. Although issue 3, I gave him more. But yeah, that's one of the things too, like writer artist brains. And that's why, like, sometimes when I see my artist, if he adds a panel, I'm like, oh, it's beautiful. But when he's able to condense stuff where I go, yeah, why did I write that extra panel? I didn't even need that. That's why as I've written more, I'm more hands off with my scripts now, to the point where now I'm not always doing it page by page. I'm like, well, all right, this is this many actions. This is roughly 4 or 5 pages. All right, just as long as you end here for this page, there's a spread here. You can utilize it or not. I don't care. That kind of stuff is fun.
You could also like thumbnail it.
Yeah, but
even if you're not a great artist, you don't really need to. Like, even if you're just doing stick figures, it gives you like a better sense of like how you want to pace and how, it like visualizes it. So I know for me, like, you were talking about how, you could be like really verbose speech and then you can't fit it into this panel. Like, I tend to I script and I'll put like all kinds of dialogue and then I'll just draw. And then I'll cut it afterwards if the art is expressive and descriptive enough.
Yeah, I'll do that. Or sometimes I'll add a line if I'm like, hey, that looks cool, but that's not as clear. I'll add a line, or sometimes I'll be like, I don't need that. Or I'll just change a line. Because you have to be willing to adjust stuff. You can't be. I learned that like if you're too overly picky, sometimes it's not good. But sometimes you do need to put your foot down, and it's that balance, I guess.
Now, as a new writer, are you leaning on anybody to provide you feedback and edit your work outside of just your own friends and family?
Yeah, I have an editor that I pay to do it. Like, he basically gave me feedback on issue 4 because I revised my script. I'm like, it's great this time. He goes, this is too slow. He's like, there's some good. And I'm like, you know what? And I was looking at it because I've written 1 through 8 multiple times. And I was like, this is all perfect. And I go, that's kind of a weakish link. And then as I'm writing it today, I'm like, I'm loving 4 now because I realized there was stuff I wrote years ago that I've kind of outgrown. I'm like, I can condense that. And add new stuff. And I think that's having an editor there, that second set of eyes, is so. I recommend everyone should have an editor. I know people are like, oh, it costs money though, and you might think you don't technically need it. If your editor is doing their job, it shows. Like, I'm almost always, if I read a comic that I think is bad, whether it's indie or mainstream, I go, who edited this? And then often with indie, I'll be like, oh, what a surprise! There's no editor. I'm not to be mean, but like there was. I would get feedback from peers and stuff, and then eventually I did get an editor. But I would get feedback from tons of peers, like I mentioned, some professionals, and they would rip me apart because people need that. Yeah. They really need that to grow.
Like, Kyron fired me off my own book. Like, he was the editor for my book, and he fired me off my own book.
How does?
No, I'm joking. I'm totally
joking. I was like, what?
I would have though.
So you mentioned Claremont, you mentioned Byrne, you mentioned Dixon. Of all their stuff, I love. I love Chuck Dixon's Nightwing.
I've heard. Everyone says his Nightwing above all of his stuff.
Yes, Yes.
So I wanted to
Yes.
read through all of his stuff. I was gonna wait because I know Nightwing was later than it, but it's like maybe I should just read that first because
To me-
everyone says
to
that is his
me-
best.
To me, it's his best stuff. That's where Nightwing to me is Nightwing. I think he evolves away from Teen Titans in that.
Mm.
But that being said, any other writers that you look to for inspiration or that you just plain out love?
Oh God, yeah. I've been really digging Kirkman's stuff. I've been looking at the adaptations, but I hadn't really read his work, and I'm reading his Invincible, and I really like that lately. So he's a more recent addition. Marv Wolfman, I love Marv Wolfman's work.
Underrated. Wolfman.
Underrated. I'm
Underrated.
shocked because everyone will put his work as some of the best, and I'm like, why is he not on the best writers ever?
Well,
but his
look
work is the best. I'm like, can you explain that to me?
because there were so many other great writers that came out at that same time.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
And then he also was, and no shade to him, but he was dwarfed by the talent that he had with him. You're talking about the Perez's and everybody. I mean, you got George Perez on your book. That's the first thing anybody's going to talk about is just the artwork, no matter what.
He had Lopez on his book too, right?
Yeah.
He did Justice League. I mean, Marv Wolfman is the reason why Teen Titans is.
Yeah, I need to finish that run next. I finished Claremont's recently. I'm going to finish Invincible and then probably finish New Teen Titans. That's my stuff. Jeff Johns, I love Jeff Johns' work. I think his stuff, he was like basically the figure. I think he was literally the figurehead or the chief creative officer at DC
for a while. Yeah.
And I was like, he was the face of it, but I really like his work. I like all of his character. He just understands superheroes on a fundamental level that I really appreciate. I read Green Lantern Rebirth not that long ago, and it's like just the way they were able to. There's just certain lines that hit so hard, and he's able to balance all these different characters without having it feel like there's so many crossover events you read. You go, all right? Can we focus on one? But Green Lantern Rebirth, it was very much a Green Lantern story, and the other characters were there to supplement.
He saved in my opinion, he saved the concept
of Green Lantern.
Yeah, because it got real stale for a while.
It got stale after was it Darkest Night? Yeah. Well, when Mars left, yeah. But whenever Hal turned to Parallax,
was Emerald Twilight.
Ron Mars's run was like the first saving of Green Lantern. Mm-hmm. Then it was kind of.
A lot of people praise that. That was Ron Mars and Daryl Banks' stuff. Jeff Loeb, the first comic I ever read was Batman Hush. So I have a soft spot for that. But then Long Halloween, is amazing. I want to read more of his stuff. I want to read his Marvel Colors series. I heard that's really good.
Yeah.
But I like basically everything I read of Jeff Loeb's. I think he's up there. Frank Miller, of course. Frank Miller, his Daredevil run, I think, is my favorite stuff of his that I've read. Granted, I've seen the movie, but I haven't read Sin City yet. But I love Batman Year One. Batman Year One was a weird one because I watched the animated movie first, and I was like, I don't like this. And then I read it as a comic, and I loved it. And it's a very close adaptation, but I just think
the beats are different.
It's just weird. Like, it's awkward in the movie because I don't know how to describe it, but I'm like, why are we focusing on Gordon's marriage? And then when I read it, I was like, I'm so invested in Gordon's marriage. And I'm like, why? It's the same story. I don't know what it is, but it just felt stilted.
I think that's one of the things that comics allows you to just take a moment and think and process. Mm-hmm. Whereas when you're watching a TV show, watching a movie, you have to constantly just keep moving.
Yeah.
But you read a comic and you get to that scene that makes you go, whoa, let me just take that moment and just let it breathe, let it in. So
what are some others?
Sorry. Harold Pete says introduction to Kyle Rayner was a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
But my point being is that I don't think after he was introduced, he took off the way they thought he was going to. He had a plateau that came very quick, and then the Green Lantern just sort of fizzled out after that for a long time.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that because he was a high-selling book for a while. I read that. I had the entire run. It was years and years and years. Remember, this was, Kyle was there during the whole Justice League run with Grant Morrison. Great writer, by the way. So yeah. Have you read Grant stuff?
Let's see.
Grant
Grant
Morrison?
stuff. I haven't. I've read. All right, so I'm looking at All Star Superman. I love All Star Superman. I want to read more of Grant Morrison's work, but I
JLA.
haven't read.
Read
JLA. Okay.
If you like,
my to read
got
list.
a superhero team. If you have a superhero team like that, was one of like it almost like.
Oh, I've read Tower of Babel. I've read or Babel. I don't know.
That's
I've read
Wade.
that one. Was that Wade? Oh my bad.
Yeah, it's Mark Wade.
Great X-Men. Grant Morrison's new X-Men run was really good too.
Let's see. Yeah, so there's a lot of writers that I need to read more of, for sure. Oh, Paul Dini, of course. I mean, the animated series, and then even every comic of his I've read, I think is great.
Yeah,
I love Paul Dini.
Master of work.
He's not a comic book writer, but Greg Wiseman, like his stuff with Spectacular Spider-Man and Young Justice, really had a big influence on me.
Okay.
What are some others? I'm trying to think. Let's see. Chris Claremont, Frank Miller, Marv Wolfman, Jeff Johns, Jeff Wolf. Yeah, I think I've listed most of my heaviest hitters.
Okay. You got to get some Mark Wade in, man. You got to get some of that.
Oh, I love Mark Wade. I didn't see
Priest.
Let's see. Christopher Priest. So I've been reading some of his all right, so there's this one issue because obviously, he wasn't always Christopher Priest. I had read one of his Vampirella things. For me, I didn't get into it, but maybe it just caught me at the wrong time. I like Vengeance of Vampirella more, but I read this Wolverine versus Spider-Man issue. This is amazing. I was like, my, because I was like, all the other Versus issues at the time, I was like, all right, whatever. This is like clearly cash grab. And I was reading it, and it was like this beautiful, like noir. I'm like, oh my God, who wrote this? I'm like, why have I never heard of this guy? And then I Google him, like, oh, that's Christopher Priest. I was like, oh, that's why it's good.
That was the Jim Housley days.
Yeah.
Housley days. Housley.
I love that one. I want to read. I've been told that like his Black Panther run is like the best one, right? Is that?
Yeah.
What else do you recommend by him? Because he's one of those guys I'd love to get more interested in.
What? Oh, he does a book. He does a book called Quantum and Woody.
Yep.
I don't think I've heard of
Valiant. Yep.
Valiant. Very funny book. Let's see. Christopher Priest. He had a good Spider-Man run, I believe.
He was, I know, editor for a while, right?
Yes,
Spider-Man.
he was the editor for a while. Yeah. He has a really good Superman book out right now.
Oh, is he doing Superman?
Or it's over, I think. It's a miniseries. It's like a 12-issue miniseries.
Yeah, there's a lot of writers where I've read like a few things of, and I just haven't dove into them. He's one of them. Morrison's one of them. There's a bunch. Let's see. All right, yeah, I'm looking at his work. Oh, he did Conan? I didn't know that.
Yep, he's been around for a while.
Yeah, I mean, he's done. Yeah, I'm seeing that he's done a ton.
He's done a lot of the milestone stuff too.
Yeah.
Icon, I believe.
Oh, he did. Did he write Icon?
Was it him? Was it Priest to do Icon or McDuffie? McDuffie did.
McDuffie's idea, but I think Priest wrote.
Priest did one of them.
Yeah,
I can't believe I didn't say because I was thinking only comics, but obviously Dwayne McDuffie's stuff, like my first exposure to superheroes, and then even he is one of the like giants for me too. So McDuffie, I would say, was a big influence too. He was another one of those people that you could just tell he knew these characters like the back of his hand.
Yeah.
So tell us about your book, man. I was able to read a little bit of it. Where did it start? Well, where did the nucleus come from? Where again, you chose to do superheroes, but it's also kind of like a legacy book. It feels like a legacy book, like the hero learning. Where was the what's the word I'm looking for? The inspiration. Did inspiration exist for that, or was this right off top of your head?
Yeah. So again, I pulled from a lot. The initial idea came about when I was a little kid. And of course, in my infinite wisdom, I was like, oh, I could direct and star in this movie as a young child. That makes sense. And that's why the character ended up looking like me, is because it was just my childhood idea.
I was going to
And it
ask
was
you why he looks so
basically,
much like you.
yeah, that's why I got a lot of crap for that. But I'm like, this is my, my computer is frozen, but I'm glad I can still talk.
That's
Yeah, we
okay.
can hear you.
We
We
know
just
what
can't.
we see what you look like.
You have an
You
interesting
can't
look
see?
on your face right now for us. It's
All right, I'm trying to think of like how I could get. It's like my computer just completely froze on Mr. Christopher.
We can still
Priest's
hear
page.
you. Go ahead.
yeah. Just
We're,
go
we're
ahead
good.
Right.
and finish.
We'll AI you your face. We'll come.
No,
Sorry
sir.
about that.
I'm joking.
Hopefully it loads. But yeah, I think with this character, it was like, and this is a small thing, but it always starts from a small idea, right? I was like looking at the Flash, and I was like, well, he has a lightning bolt, but he just has super speed. What if I had someone with lightning powers and super speed? And that was kind of the genesis of this character. Now, again, as a kid, I thought I had come up with the original name Lightning Lad, and a whole series of movies I had come up with. And then I was heartbroken to discover that this character.
Oh, did we finally lose Vaughn?
Oh, we lost him.
I think we did. Can't hear him anymore, can you?
Nope.
Oh no! And he was just about to tell us how he found out about Lightning Lad from DC, and he was
I know.
devastated.
It sucks.
Oh man,
Oof.
there's other Lightning Lads though, right?
I'm sure.
I I want to say Marvel had a Lightning Lad at one point too.
Maybe.
Um,
At this point, like I think we've all had that. Oh, I got this great name for a character. Then you Google it and you're like, Heat. I've always been shocked that Heat didn't exist. To this day, I've heard it's always Heat something.
Brad Arney in the chat said, "What's the book that is being pitched?" We were talking with creator Vaughn Coleman about his book, Phenomenova. He has 3 issues out. He just finished a Kickstarter for it, for issue 3, which is this cover right here. There is still I think it's what's called late pledging. I think what it's called, that you can go. So just search Phenomenova and check it out. May get a copy. I was going to ask him real quick because he mentioned at one point that his books are not the longest books. His first issue was like 60 pages long. And then issue 2 for some reason was 24, and then issue 3 is like 48 or something like that. I was like, how many pages?
However the story needs to be made. He's like, this episode is a half an hour.
I'm so sorry about that. My computer just went like whatever.
You're good.
I don't know what happened. So what was I in the middle of blabbing about?
Real quick, Brad, thank you for backing already Vaughn's book. You were telling us about Phenomenova.
The book, right? I finally got, and then the computer was like censoring me. It's like, nope, you don't get.
Your computer's like, no, we ain't talking about that right now.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about it enough. All right,
yeah,
I need a break. No, but Phenomenova. So he had lightning powers and super speed. But I was really inspired by the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie. That to me is still my favorite superhero movie.
Okay.
And just the origin story. The way he's like experimenting with his powers, figuring out, and all of that was my biggest inspiration. And then it would kind of evolve. It would like go dormant for a couple of years, but I had a bunch of characters I came out with when I was little. It was a series of movies, and then it would go dormant for a bit. And then it would come back up when I was watching shows like Young Justice, like rediscovering my DCEU love as I got through middle school, through high school. And I was like, actually, as an animated series. And I was like, well, let's change some things around, move some characters here and there. And then eventually it became a comic book series. But I would always have a bunch of other characters. So it being a team book just made sense. I'm sorry, the question was about my inspirations for it, or my computer resetting totally threw me off?
No, that was good. You answered it just perfect. That was
okay,
perfect.
because I forgot what the question was.
No, you're good. Perfect. You're perfect. That was perfect answer.
I think that was a great segue for us to go into quick takes. Now, if you guys have never seen quick takes, usually this is something that Danny runs, but Danny's not here. So Giovanna has stepped up and decided to do quick takes. Quick takes is a rapid fire questionnaire where you're going to get 5 questions on that Giovanna has generated questions about you personally.
Okay.
So don't stress about it. It's all
right.
for fun.
I wasn't until you said
Danny
that.
would normally have more intrusive questions. I'm not
Yeah.
Danny.
Huh.
All right. You ready, Javon?
I'm ready. All right. Let's see. Favorite superhero movie was Spider-Man. What's your second favorite superhero movie?
Ooh. Oh man. I'm gonna go with, maybe it'll change, but I'm gonna go with the Avengers right now.
Okay, good choice. Good choice. Good choice. This is gonna be a quick takes.
Okay.
Best
So dang.
I know, right?
I didn't even get a chance to put it up yet.
All right, you ready? Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah,
You
sorry
ready?
about that. I'll be quicker. Yeah.
Okay. No, he's
I'm too slow.
okay. All right. Best music to listen to when writing.
Honestly, video game soundtracks.
Oh.
Okay. Any particular video game?
It really depends. Often, I'll just, whatever's recent, I'll just keep listening to it. Like lately, honestly, battle themes from the Pokemon games.
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. I
Your
was not
Pokemon?
expecting the answer at all.
Favorite
What was the
Pokemon?
question?
Oh, Raichu,
Oh.
like lightning. So
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Last good comic you read.
I just read one the other day.
Was
I
Heat
love the
officially
Viltrumite War.
It's a good one. It's a good one. It's a good one. It's a good one. I just read that a little bit ago too. Earliest comic memory.
Batman Hush, got it for Christmas, and and it was the first comic I had read. Couldn't put it down.
It's a pretty good introduction in the comics. And then, since you have a book about a young superhero, your top 5 favorite young superheroes.
I mean, Spider-Man, of course. Robin, Tim Drake, especially, I would put up there. I feel like I can't keep putting Robins. I got to get more creative with this. I'm only allowed one Robin. I'll say Dick Grayson as well. Screw it. I'm on a time limit. I really like Cyborg.
Okay.
And then I'll go with. All right, time limit. I'll go with Magic, New Mutants.
Okay. All right. Spider-Man.
Kitty Pryde. How did I not say Kitty Pryde? Oh my God. See, I'm gonna look back and be like, Kitty Pryde. Yeah. Did I name 5?
You named like 8. Yeah. No, I'm joking. You did 5. You did 5.
Although I think we need a review on a couple of those because Peter Parker's not really young anymore.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so that was the tough part because that's why I struggled with Dick Grayson because I'm like, aren't they all adults now?
Yeah,
you'd argue that those two are probably the same age now.
Yeah.
And Cyborg is, who the hell knows how old?
Well, Cyborg, that's why I struggled with him too because I'm like, wasn't he in like his Teen Titans? That was fake advertising because like by the time New Teen Titans showed up, they were certainly not teenagers.
No. Nope.
I think he was closer to 20.
He was a senior.
Yeah, Cyborg.
Right?
Yeah, he was. There were a lot.
I liked him, and it wasn't until, but like I liked him, but he was never one of my favorites, and wasn't until they get to that one Day in the Lives issue in the New Teen Titans where I went back years later, and I was like, that ripped my heart out. I'm like, Cyborg just bumped. I always liked him, but he was never like my favorite, and that bumped him way up the list.
Okay.
So that's how you do a quick takes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this week's quick tapes is brought to you by Gemini Comic Supply. Get 10% off your next purchase at Gemini Comic Supply by using the code AceBlade at checkout. I think that's what Danny says. Vaughn, this has actually been very great and fun show. We want to make sure, though, that our audience follows you and your work and anything that you're doing in the future. So where's the best place for them to follow you online?
So go to rebeloasisstudios.com. That's the name of my company, and join my email list because that way you can check out everything. Like I'll email you about anything I'm working on because some stuff will be here, some will be there. This is just the most centralized location. Plus I got some merch and I got some comics on there. But you can also, if you look up my name, Vaughn Coleman, you could find me. Basically wherever. I'm also on Global Comics. I'm still a staff pick. Phenomenova is a staff pick on Global Comics. So if you're on there, check out the first 2 issues. Obviously my book is on Kickstarter right now. It's in late pledges. It should be done by the end of the year. So get on that if you're still interested. And what else? I mean, I guess if you look up my name, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, Vaughn Coleman or Rebel Oasis. You'll find me. I'm on YouTube as well, just Vaughn Coleman. I try and make myself easy to find.
Okay. All right. Javon, where can people check out your work?
As always, Visually Stoked Media. You can get all copies of Heat and Strong. You can find me Facebook, Javon Stokes, and if you can find me, Visually Stoked Media, one word, on Instagram.
All right. And if you want to check out my work, you can go to tauruscomics.com. You can find me on all social media platforms at Taurus Comics. And if this is the first time you've checked out this podcast, you can go to fourtailspodcast.com. Listen to our previous episodes, buy some merchandise, support us that way. Join us next week, though, where we are going to have writer Evan Burgoon, creator of Tiny Wizards and Evan 07, here on the show to talk about his upcoming work. But until then, everybody, sayonara, goodbye, and please take care of yourselves.
Have a good one.
I want to know what it is Quick is trying to say.